Superbrothers Sword and Sworcery is a game that started out on mobile. I played it on my iPhone. It's probably one of the first games that I played on my iPhone a long time ago. Probably with the iPhone 3G, I think is when it came out. It's a really long time ago. But it was one of those games where it was definitely ahead of its time and also retro at the same time. It's got a really fantastic and unique pixel art style, which is a weird thing to say. You don't usually associate pixel art with being unique at the same time. But I can't think of anything else that it looks like. It is definitely pixel art, but at the same time, it looks so different from everything else. It stands out. It's a very compelling art style. The art design in the game is fantastic. I don't know how they managed to do what they did with such a small palette of colors. Everything feels very minimalistic, but you can still tell what everything is. Like, I was walking through the woods in the game, and the bushes are mostly just a flat color with a few speckles through them, but you can tell that it's foliage. You can tell exactly what the artist meant for that to be at the time. That's something that I'll never understand how somebody can do. Minimalistic art. It's so minimalistic, and at the same time, it's so obvious what they meant to do. It's really amazing, and I love the pixel art of the game, and the only way to describe it is unique. It's got a really good soundtrack too. The soundtrack is by Jim Guthrie, and it's equal parts rock and synthwave and piano. It's very, very, again, unique. Superbrothers Sword and Sworcery is a very unique game. It feels like nothing else that I've played. It's clear that it's based on certain things like Zelda. It's very reminiscent of Zelda, but it doesn't play like Zelda. It plays more like a point-and-click adventure, but the unique pixel art and the unique soundtrack make for an experience that I haven't really had other than when playing this game. The sound design is also very good. It should be played with headphones on or with a good sound system. Now, I don't know if this game has ever been on a console before, but when I played it on my iPhone, it said, use headphones. So I did, and I was happy that I did. And then, but it was just my earbuds at the time. Now I'm playing on at my desk with my very nice headphones hooked up to my PC, and it sounds fantastic. The sound design is very, very evocative and creepy, and when you combine that with Jim Guthrie's synthwave soundtrack, it is almost oppressive. The graphics and the sound design and the eerie music, they all kind of come together to evoke this very creepy feeling when you're playing the game. The game, I wouldn't say that I was scared, but I was creeped out. I don't think I experienced that when I played the phone version, although in the phone version I didn't get very far because I don't like touchscreen games. But playing on a bigger screen definitely brings you into the game a lot more. And like I said, with the graphics, sound design, and the music, it evokes this creepy feeling that is very, very unsettling. And at the same time that it's unsettling, it's also very compelling. It's probably a good thing that the game tells you to take breaks. Like when you finish a section of the game is broken into sections. When you finish a section, it's like there's a guy standing there in a suit with a cigarette or maybe a cigar. You can't really tell because it's pixel art. And he says, you know, it's probably a good idea for you to take a break right now. Come back and let me know when you're ready to try the next thing. I think it's good that the game tells you to take breaks, because you might keep playing, and you probably run through it pretty quickly. It's definitely a short game. I'd say probably somewhere between 4 and 5 hours in length. If you're rushing, you might be able to get it done in 4, and it's not a very long game. But I always appreciate these short palate cleansing games. You know, when I sit down to play something and the back of the box says over 100 hours of content, all I can think of is, well, there's no way I'm getting through all that. As much as I'd like to, I never can. So I like when you've got a game that is quite short, that you can kind of bum rush your way through and, you know, get an entire experience in a few short hours. Almost like watching a movie. That's one thing about movies that I like over TV shows or over video games, is you get told a whole story in a very short period of time. And Superbrothers Sword and Sworcery is kind of like that. You get told the whole story in a shorter period of time. The writing is very cool too. The setting is fantasy, but the writing feels more modern. The dialogue, I mean, it's almost whatever the opposite of anachronistic would be. It's clear that it was done on purpose this way, but as the text goes across the screen and you read it, you're like, wow, that doesn't feel like it belongs with this setting and this these graphics and this sound. It feels very strange, and I think that you take that along with the graphics and the sound and the design, and everything feels very off-putting. It's like the developers of the game were trying to throw you off balance, which I think is very cool. Now, because this game started out as a phone game, it has touchscreen controls, but you do not have to use touchscreen controls. You can also just use the buttons, which I am very thankful for. That's actually my preferred way of playing it. I also tried using the right Joy-Con as a gyro mouse, and it worked very well. It worked very well. It would have worked better if I wasn't sitting at my desk. Like, if I was sitting on a couch, it would have worked probably flawlessly, but because I was sitting at my desk and resting my arm on the table, I didn't have as much freedom of movement as I would if I was sitting on the couch with my arm in my lap or to my side and using the gyro. That being said, man, oh man, Nintendo did a great job with the gyroscopic controls on the Nintendo Switch. They really did. And I like it when game companies take advantage of that. I also like it when game companies, when they take advantage of it, but they don't force you to use it, kind of like recently happened with Pokemon Let's Go. Although, I'm not going to get into that. So, Superbrothers Sword and Sworcery, I'm not finished with the entire game yet, but I'm having a lot of fun with it. I'm going to continue playing it. Very creepy, cool graphics, amazing soundtrack. Make sure that if you're not playing it with a high-end stereo system, that you've got some good headphones to listen to this, because Jim Guthrie did a great job with the music in this game. Let me know what you think of Superbrothers Sword and Sworcery EP on the Nintendo Switch. I think that this is definitely something that you should not skip, especially if you need a short palate cleanser. Now, I'm posting this the day before Smash comes out, so I don't expect people to run out and pick it up, because most of us are going to be very busy playing Smash. But keep this game in mind for when you have a little extra time and you want to try something very, very different.